I, 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 I,
It's all right.
I don't know what it is.
We gotta have bloopers too. Hey everybody, welcome to the Lions Pride Tavern podcast number 91. Tonight we find out how we didn't do again in this weekend's continuing raid of Antorus the Burning Throne. But before all that, let's start off with introductions. I'm your host, Stafford. I play a Dwarven Beastmaster Hunter in the awesome game World of Warcraft. Next up, we have Dizzy.
Hi, I'm Dizzy. I'm a human Beastmaster Hunter.
And Lorelei.
Hi, it's Lorelei, your Arms Fury Night Elf Warrior. Boy, I said that all wrong.
So now I gotta ask: are you switching back and forth?
I am
in game. So
yes.
You do an Arms at some bosses and Fury on another.
Yes, because for me, Fury on Argus is not working out. My DPS sucks. And with Arms, I also get the ability to use Shield Block, which helps me out on the Soul Bursts. So I'm switching out and hoping to see something better happen.
Ah, very good, very good. All right, and we don't have a Pistol here tonight. He was doing some sort of award night for his son. So it was like a banquet or something that he was going to, and it happened to be at the same time we're recording. So no Pistol tonight. But for the first time, we have Ant.
Hi, I'm Ant, your Night Elf Mistweaver Monk.
A Mistweaver. I love that. When monks first came out, you couldn't throw a stone anywhere and not hit a monk. And now it's like, monks? What's a monk?
Yeah, they went the way of rogues.
I even have a monk. I have like 3 monks. I had a human monk because I wanted like a ninja, girl, and I never played her. And then I had to go, well, I got to have a panda.
Yeah, I did too, but I deleted her.
I still have mine, but she's like at 95.
Oh, God.
I know. I got her high enough so she could have her garrison, and do all that stuff, and then, or he actually, and yeah. But I did like it because every time I mounted my pet, it wasn't a horse. I did a bear. I made a macro that says, "Is it kosher for a panda to ride a bear?" So every time I mounted my bear, I yelled that out. It was pretty funny. People were, every once in a while I'd get an LOL. But
and so that's all that matters.
Yes, that's all that matters. How is everybody this week?
Good.
Not bad.
Did you guys do anything exciting?
I booted my daughter out to camp.
Yeah, yay!
She's going to go swim and boating and do archery and play in the woods and be a little kid for a week.
Nice.
And then she can have her fun back.
I actually know exactly which camp you're taking. My brother's son had gone to that camp, and I actually got to take him up.
Your nephew?
Yeah, my nephew. Yes, and got to take him up to that camp, and he came back after that just going, I just want to live in the woods now. So we'll see if your daughter says that. So, well, it was Durag's 21st birthday this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we just did birthday celebration. Well, not quite all weekend, but we just kind of laid around and didn't do much. And so he got himself a new gun, and then my wife bought him 4 bottles of alcohol.
Oh, there's a good combination right there.
Guns
there
and
you
alcohol.
go.
It's a
Sounds
Montana
very
way.
American to me.
Well, okay, so they're the little airplane bottles, not like really big ones, because he doesn't drink. I've tried. I've mixed him drinks. My favorite drink is Yukon Jack and Mountain Dew. I call it a Yukadoo. After about 4 of them, you can do anything.
Well, that's why he doesn't drink.
Right. And,
Ugh, Mountain Dew.
oh, it is so good. It's so good. But yeah, I let him when he was younger just kind of taste, and I let him have beer once, and he's like, ugh. So that's what you need to do as parents. You need to let them have a little bit when they're very young, and they hate it, and they'll never touch it. He's 21, and he's like, I don't drink. So.
But that's not a bad thing either.
No, it's not. Well, and I've told this story to many people. When I was younger, I got pulled over. I was totally drunk, got pulled over by the police, said something funny to him, and he's like, all right, you guys, I don't want to see you out in this car tonight. So we went home and got my truck. You could do that stuff back then in the 80s, right? Because it was lax. But nowadays, man, you just breathe like you're drunk or say something wrong and MIP or, right off to jail. It's a totally different story now, which is good because we didn't realize how much havoc we were causing when we were young. But I'm sure everybody's got a drunk story, but not necessarily one they want to tell.
I might have a few.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
possible
I think we
that
all
I married
do.
my drinking buddy.
Yeah.
I remember once I was so drunk I couldn't get in the elevator because the doors kept closing too fast. I do remember that one. Anyway, long story. We won't get into it. So that was my excitement for the week, or weekend, I guess. I was supposed to work on my daughter's bathroom and never got that done either. So
Bad Pafford.
I know. She keeps glaring at me like, when's my bathroom gonna be done? So, all right. Well, Epistle had a compliment, and I'll talk about that. So he answered the questions. Was it last podcast? I think it was. That Antorus had, and she just sent back thank you for answering that. So I just wanted to throw that out there, that there is a fan or two out there.
Well, good.
So-
They should ask us more questions.
Absolutely.
Fans? What are these
Yeah,
fans that
yeah.
you're talking about?
Yeah, people that actually listen to what we have to say.
Why would anybody listen to what we have to say?
Well, it's interesting. They can listen to us anytime they want, because we're on Podomatic.com. We're also on Google Play and iTunes, and now Potable.co. Plus, we have a Facebook page. Yay, Facebook!
Ooh.
I don't know. Facebook's changing a lot, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, anyway, so Facebook.com/Lions Pride Tavern. We have a Discord channel and a YouTube channel. So all those links are in the description below. So please go check them out. If you join into our Discord channel, we do watch it. We're not on there a lot. It's definitely not the Discord channel we use to raid with. So sorry. That one's private for raiders only. But we do answer any questions or comments you have. We always say hi when somebody new joins. So please go to our Discord channel, join up. So, and then if you have any questions at all, send them to Lionspridetavern@yahoo.com. Okay, I'm done sounding like a commercial now. So,
Are you sure?
yeah. Every once in a
Positive.
while, I got to throw that in there. So I feel very talkative. Only because the Pistol's not here. I mean, he's usually the one just ranting and raving. So.
He
Are we
does?
talking about the
Is
same
that nice
epistle?
Canadian ranting and raving?
Yes.
Or it doesn't seem like it's ranting and raving?
Maybe he'll make a special appearance and just pop right in.
Yeah, hard to say. We don't know. Well, Dizzy, why don't you tell us how we did in this week's raid of Antorus the Burning Throne?
Well, on Friday evening, we went in and cleared all the trash all the way up and skipped to Argus. And, yeah.
We
That
were
was
still
pretty much
there
it.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know how to explain it, but we made progress all weekend. It's just we never actually got Argus down.
We didn't. And,
We had good pulls, we had bad pulls. mistakes were made, things were learned, and I don't have anything else to tell you.
So we're going to spend a little bit of time here talking about those mistakes and what we think it was that caused us not to get it down. We got so close several times, but
So close.
so close. I don't know how we got it down the one time we did get it down. I don't know how we did it because other than the fact that I know that that was, I sacrificed and mispolled. Yeah, I think that was the one. I don't know. No, I was alive.
Let's talk about that, Stafford.
Yeah, so that theory kind of went right out the window, didn't it?
One of the polls, Stafford's like, mispoll. All right, we're going to do it. Yeah, keep going.
Well, we need to watch that one again and see what happened that caused that. And there had to be something that went right.
He hit number 1.
'Cause we haven't been doing it since.
So I use, for those of you who don't know, I use a G13 keyboard. It's one of those gaming pads. And it's a cheaty pad because you can program the keys to do whatever you want. When I play my mage loves to cast the Arcane Explosion. Boom, boom, boom. Well, I have a key set up where if I hit a key, it just automatically does it every single time. As soon as it cools off, boom, it does another one. Cools off, boom, it does another one. I just hit the key and sit
Sounds like
back.
you play your mage wrong, but
No.
doesn't matter.
I'm talking if I have to just kill a whole bunch of mobs, or I'm running, I'm dual boxing or running somebody around that I just need to kill everything off, or I'm farming for mats. Some of the lower dungeons, it works really well. I just hit that and just start running all around and killing everything. Works great, but it's on the same key binding set that my hunter's on, and I play what's it called? State of Decay. State of Decay 2, and it's about zombies. Well, that same key in that one is the escape button. So if I want to get out of a menu, I just hit that button. So I was actually looking. I went to a mount and repaired, and so my bags are open and everything. And so I hit that button to close it, which doesn't do that. And I had the boss targeted. So it fired my number 1 key, which is my melee shot key, at the boss and pulled the boss.
Now,
so yes,
you
I know how I did
all that, but I still don't believe you.
It was truly an accidental mispoll,
Uh-huh.
but it's always the hunter's fault. The hunter, I'm the hunter.
Always your fault.
Always my fault. Even when I'm not around, I noticed you guys were running something after raid on Friday, and I hear my wife say, "Let's just blame Stafford." I'm downstairs watching TV. I'm not even in WoW. And I get
Well, see,
blamed.
there was your first mistake.
Always have that person.
Yeah. So even when I'm not there, that's all.
Right.
It's all good. It's all good.
We were achievement hunting in Blackrock Foundry Friday night.
Ah.
Oh,
So
yes,
because
we
you
were.
didn't get the achievement, it was my fault.
No, I don't remember what was your fault.
Just
We-
something.
We might not have even done anything wrong. It might have been just your fault just because.
Oh, okay. Too funny. All right, so let's talk about Argus. So we polled what, 20? We probably had 20 polls between the 2 days.
17.
Okay,
Yeah, that sounds
We
like
were-
20.
really
Ouch.
close. So, and that's not bad. I mean, and I have to say, and I will admit this, I think we're getting better.
Oh, I
I
agree.
mean, I think with each poll, people are learning a little more, doing a little better. There's just so much RNG.
The first 3 phases have gotten so much cleaner.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember when JobUi was with us and his alarm went off because we couldn't stay out of the death fog. And now everybody makes it through now, almost. Sometimes I die.
I may have died to it this week.
I
Yes, you
died
did.
to it.
Well, I died because I get the blight, and then all of a sudden somebody goes, "Oh, here comes the wedge," and I love the way Epistle started doing that. the
Yeah.
cone.
Oh, that was so much
We have
fun.
to look up some more of those.
Yes, he's like, snow cone.
Actually,
Ice
I
cream
was
cone.
following his mood over the weekend. Every time he said cone, it was changing.
Yes, that was so cool. So if you didn't see that or you didn't hear that, if you want to, you go to our YouTube page. I stream the whole video. You can watch it live if you want on Friday and Saturdays, or you can go back and watch it anytime. But yeah, it's pretty cool. He's pretty funny. He's got a very dry sense of humor. He just says it
It's not dry,
so
it's
nonchalant.
Canadian.
Yeah, well, isn't that dry?
No,
Canadian dry?
he is a very lively Canadian.
Isn't that a drink? Canadian dry?
Canada Dry?
Yeah. Is it Canada Dry, not Canadian Dry?
Yeah,
No,
it's ginger
Canada.
ale.
I was kidding. But anyway, let's talk about our 17 polls. Does anybody think that it was something very specific? We're going to go in order here so we don't talk over one another. So we're going to let Dizzy start off. Is there anything that you think that might be the one cause?
Fatigue.
What do you mean by that?
Well, we only did Argus both nights this week, so there's 4 hours of Argus. Last week we did the same thing, so 8 hours of Argus without a kill. And every pull is approximately 10 to 12 minutes. And while we're getting better in the early phases, by the time we get to the fourth phase, everybody's tired and the mistakes just add up. That's my thinking.
So you think it's the length of the fight?
No, it's maybe maybe a combination of that and that we've been beating our head on it for so long. But 10 minutes into a fight and then people make more mistakes.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, that's why we have the break an hour into it, but that's possible. Yeah, that's a good
That's
thought.
just what I think.
Yeah.
Because I
Lorelei?
can't pinpoint any one thing.
I think it's mechanics. I think people are just they're not taking that personal responsibility. And we talked about that in the raid Friday, I think, if not Saturday, that it's people really need to be more on the ball with what's going on.
So you think it's just mechanic mistakes throughout the fight, not one specific mechanic?
Yeah, because I mean, there were times when the first phase was beautiful. It's like nobody died from dropping anything on the ground. Nobody ran over anybody else with it, and it went flawlessly. And so it can be done, but it's people having to pay attention. And I think people just need to get their minds focused on not panicking so much and just, we know how to do this. You know how to move it. I tried moving my blights backward, and then if cone was coming out, then I just moved sideways a little bit, and that worked. It helped me out. So I think it's just a matter of getting your mind set and just don't panic.
Yeah, okay. All right. It's definitely possible. Maybe what we're going to find out is it's a combination of all of this stuff. So, Ant, what about you? You got anything specific?
I think I have to agree with Lorelei. I think it's doing the mechanics and doing them right, because we seem to do the first 3 phases almost flawlessly now. I mean, we have a hiccup here and there, but that's expected. But when we get to the 4th phase, it's just chaos.
Like panic. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where I think the fatigue comes in.
I mean, there's also too is that there's just certain things that people are getting, and I don't think that they know necessarily what to do with them in terms of like the bombs and the bursts. I think that getting those out and the possible of like tunneling is they are just focusing too much on trying to get the boss down, that they're not doing the mechanics of the fight, and they're not looking at what they are getting on them or what they have or what's coming up next.
Well, I do know when JobUI was doing this, one of his big focuses was how much time we had at Reaps, when Soul Reap went off. And that's where everybody dies. How much time we had left from there to get to the end before his enrage timer went off. And I noticed, and I was watching it the last 8, 9 polls, and we were getting faster and faster and faster, to where we had, I think one of the first times we had like 4 minutes 30 seconds. And that's like bare minimum to get it down. And there was one time there where we had 5 minutes and 40 seconds left, which it was like, holy moly, that's huge.
No, and I think he had a point with that, up to a point, in that if we didn't have at least 4.5 minutes, we would not make the enrage timer.
Right, so start over.
But that wasn't what was killing us.
We also did make that one change where, because we were getting so fast, is that we were actually getting to use our hero again. We actually stopped using hero at the beginning and saved it until we got Titanforge, because we're getting so much better at the first 3 phases.
Right, and I remember the time that we got it down, we actually heroed twice and Titanforged twice during the time.
If you looked at the time that we got it down versus the logs from last night, I think last night we did the first 3 phases much cleaner and much better, and it wouldn't have mattered. It was the 4th phase.
True, yeah. Oh, I agree wholeheartedly. It's always been the 4th phase. That's giving us our sunshine daisy something that wrecks us. Yeah, just terrible.
Yep.
It's like everything's smooth, well-oiled machine. 4th phase chaos monkey, running amok. People screaming their heads off.
Yeah, not knowing where to take things that are important.
It just, I don't know. Could it be that we've gotten so much practice in on those first few phases, that's why we're getting it down, that we just need more time on this last phase?
That's a possibility. I mean, we have learned that once we do fights more, we get better as we get used to them. I mean, Agrimar took us the exact same amount of time to get down.
Yeah, very true. And I'm looking at our logs. We're averaging 963.3 item level, so it's not like we have item level issues. And this was Saturdays. I'm not looking at Fridays, just Saturdays. I'm actually looking at our best poll, which was right before break, which, I think I said this is the last poll before break. And boy, 3%. I think I need to say that on every fight. Dizzy, what do you think?
I know where you live, Stafford. Please don't do that. I would not want to have to show up at your door.
So, I tried that, I think it was last weekend, where I said each poll, this is the last poll of the night. And yeah.
It's fine when it's the last poll, but when you do it every poll, oh my gosh.
Well, I'm just trying to motivate people, that's all I'm trying to do. So yes, looking at the log, looking at that best one, we did only Titanforge once during that, where, like I said, the pull we got down, where we got him down, we Titanforged twice, and we heroed twice. So I don't know, that's probably an extra 3% damage right there, and that's all he had left on him. Just saying.
Yeah.
I think that's, I don't know. It's a difficult one to pin down one specific thing. That's why I asked you guys a question, because I think everybody's got a different answer for what causes it. Not only that, for the listeners, you got to remember, we have a core group of players that show up both Friday and Saturday night, majority of the time, but we have people that rotate in and out that have played with us for years that can't make it on Friday but can on Saturday, or vice versa. So our makeup is always a little different. This week compared to last week, we had issues not having enough
Healers.
Enough healers, and we didn't have
we ran into what, DPS issues on Friday?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Or was that last
Friday
week?
was DPS, I think.
Yes, Friday was DPS issues.
Yeah, we didn't have enough. But what I'm saying is, last week we didn't have enough interrupts either, and this week we had more than enough interrupts. Well, we're probably average, because I do know that there was one time that Dizzy went down. Dizzy and I were on the arcane mini boss, and he went down, and I had used mine.
I'm sorry, Stafford. I needed a nap.
And I don't have the time, just isn't enough for me to get a second one off. It's counting down, but it's like 6 seconds when it starts to go off where I need to interrupt it. But people were right on top of it. I called for an interrupt, and bang, somebody was there and interrupted it. So we had it, and those went pretty smooth, I think. Don't you guys? The interrupts?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy. Yeah, because I can get all the interrupts on my ad. So that can free up somebody else if they need. I mean, I need somebody to help me hit it, but.
And then, like, the other thing that happens is when the little ad turns big, I fully turn off of it and go to a different ad to help with a different one until he gets small again, because he's not casting that spell that needs to be interrupted.
See, and I stayed on him the whole time. I figured it was easier to take ours down and get it down. But I mean, there isn't any DPS difference. It's not like he takes less.
Yeah,
DPS
but I mean,
when
I would switch over to one of the other small ones to get them down faster, so that there were less things that needed to be interrupted overall.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get your strategy. I'm not.
But I'd still be watching ours, so when he changed back, I would switch back to him.
Yeah. So I don't know, fans, if you guys have any suggestions. We're kind of at a loss. It's just random stuff. Our logs are actually posted on wowlogs.com, and you can just search for Stafford and see, or Dizzy, Flores, or Lorelei, or Epistle. Although it's Canadian spelling Epistle, I think, because that's not the way I would pronounce it, but that's the way we've pronounced it. And of course, Ant, he's the only guy besides, I thought I saw Bob once. Or somebody said, no, that was you, Dizzy. Didn't you say you had a character named Bob?
I have a character named Bob.
I didn't know you could do
B-O-B,
3 letters.
Bob.
And that is so amazing, because when it first came out, man, I tried all sorts of names and couldn't find a name because they were all taken.
Well, I think it was about 6 or 8 months ago, Blizzard went through and cleared out names that hadn't been used in years, and I think that I just lucked upon it in that case.
Well, I know you can fight for a name, so if you can prove that that person hasn't used that tune in a year or something, that you can get their name changed. I've heard of that happening. Hasn't happened to any of my tunes, but if it's a real popular name, I suppose.
I mean, I have a special character on mine because somebody has mine.
Right, yeah, I see that. It's not just ANT, it's like A with a dot above it.
It's got like a little arrow pointing up.
So it's like the symbol in Stargate for Earth.
Yes.
Got the circle above it. I'm really geeking out there. I've been watching
You're such
Stargate
a nerd,
all weekend.
Stafford.
I know.
I guess that's why we get along.
Right? Well, I've been watching Stargate, the series SG-1. I started over with episode 1, and there's like, 10, 12 seasons, something like that. I love Richard Dean Anderson. But anyway, off topic. So yeah, fans, if you want to look at the logs, I don't know if you can interpret what might be happening. There is a few polls. We know what happened. Like Soul Bomb went off in the middle of a group, so that took out a bunch of people. We addressed those situations. We made a couple minor strategic changes in our thinking, but not too much. I don't know, guys. I'm at a loss, except for the fact that this is one of those bosses that has to be perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know any other way to put it. It just has to be perfect. If it's not perfect, damage is taken and things happen and mistakes are made.
The 4th phase has to be perfect.
Yep.
The other 3 phases, you can have more so like a couple people die and still be okay. But the 4th phase, any mistakes, it's done and over with.
Yeah. Yep. And I don't know that it's at least on Saturday. I don't know if it was a lack of DPS because our DPS actually looks pretty dang good.
Well, if we could have more people up in that last bit of phase 4, we definitely have them down. That's not the issue.
It's controlling the soul bombs too. That's going to be our biggest issue. Is we got to work on that more so with the healers in terms of how they're going to do it.
Okay. Well, I'll let you work that out with the healers. I know you had a slight strategy that you were thinking you might want to work with, but I can't. I honestly, Ant, I can't specifically say that that was the reason we wipe every time. It's not. I mean, it's something different each and every time. But I think Dizzy's the closest. It's just fatigue. It's tunneling. It's just little things.
Well, I mean, yeah, too. Is I'm not going to say the soul bomb is the biggest thing, but people do tunnel and then they don't realize what they have on them. So then that is causing they can't get out quick enough or something to that effect.
I mean, I thought the origination modules, I mean, we did have a couple of times there where the pulse killed a few people, but I think that was towards the end anyway.
Yeah, when we're not getting them down because we don't have enough DPS to get them down quick enough.
But, yeah, I don't see anything out of the ordinary in the logs. So maybe the fans, if they want to look at our logs and see what they think and maybe watch our stream. I didn't spend a lot of time on the floor Friday and Saturday. So usually when I do, I got this panoramic camera that I can show the fight as it's going on. You can see what everybody else is doing, but you just get to watch what I'm doing. So, and yes, I use a lot of add-ons. I had that comment. They were like, on one of the streams. They're like, "Geez, how do you play with all the add-ons all over your screen?" It's like, it plays really well, as a matter of fact.
I don't believe you.
You don't.
I've seen your screen, and I have no idea how you play.
Yeah, it's easy. I mean, all the ones around me are the important ones because those are my spells, and I got to get them off. And as long as they're not there, then I'm doing fine. I've cast them all. It's just a matter of casting them in the right order. And I'm learning that. I don't know. Dizzy, you and I just need to get together. Because you're like, on our best poll, you were number 3 in DPS. And Spiffy was right below you. And, I mean, literally, your gear isn't it's not that much greater than mine. And I don't see that we're doing a lot of different stuff.
I will say that I've actually looked at a different hunter in their group and compared our gear, and their gear is way better than mine, and I'm doing way better than they are doing in DPS. And it's not you. I just don't want to call out who it was.
Thanks. Yeah, no, I totally understand. It's just, I don't know, I mean, being a raid leader and having to call stuff out every once in a while does take up its time, but even when JoBui was doing all that, so I mean you're at what 961, and I'm 961, so we're at the same item level, but it might be a difference in items because you have a couple of different legendaries than I do. So I don't know. We'll get together one of these days. I mean, I was doing 1.1, you're doing 1.5, so it's not much more. I mean, I'm up there, I'm close to the top, but it's just, it's always nice to see your name at the top. Isn't it spicy? Every time he comes on, I'm like, what does this guy do? He's doing like...
I have no idea, but he's amazing.
And he's a 959 for cripe's sake. I don't get
He's actually a good tank, too.
Is he?
Oh, he's an amazing tank.
Oh, he's awesome.
Ooh, see if you can grab him for Friday.
Yeah, we might have to do that.
Oh,
well,
he will.
I don't know if
I know he will.
Is he there on Fridays? I think he's one that doesn't show up on Fridays. He shows up on Saturday.
He's a hit or a miss, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that if you find out and see his schedule, if he's going to be there, I know that he would definitely tank if given the opportunity.
Oh, I'm sure he would. Yeah. But I mean, he's hitting 2 million DPS. Come on. Really?
Yep.
And
Paladins
he's,
are nice.
yeah, I guess. And
And
in
it's
sixes,
consistently 2
yeah.
million or plus DPS.
And sixes, oh my gosh, he's number 2 right there, 1.8, almost 1.9 mil. You know, that's amazing. I mean, considering Warlocks used to be crap.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. But anyway, it's not a DPS, you know, that's not what it's all about. It's also about doing mechanics, and you can have the highest DPS you want, but if you're dying off all the time, that ain't helping. All right. Well, anybody got any other thoughts, suggestions for Argus?
More cowbell?
No, I have no idea. I wish I had. This is where I'm missing having another perspective on the raid and the fight, and I don't have it, so I can't. I feel like, well, there's nothing I can contribute.
Right. Yeah. Your group, you still raid with your group?
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
And they've done heroic Argus, so
Right.
they've got it. I don't know. Maybe I could possibly speak to one of the tanks.
So, what do you think a solution should be? What do you think we should do for next Friday and Saturday? Think we should keep just chugging along and stay at Argus and keep getting better in that fourth phase? I mean, we got 1, 2, and 3 done. You know, we got that down, I think, and it's just fourth phase. Or do you think it's going to wear the people down to where maybe we should go back to boss 1 and, you know, Friday go through as many bosses as we can? What do you think, Dizzy?
Well, I suggested it, so I think we should just to clean the plate and just start over fresh and just do a total clear, and so that way we can do all these other bosses and get a bunch of kills, so that when we get to Argus, we don't spend the whole weekend not getting kills.
Okay. Yep. Lorelai?
I agree. I think that we can also work on getting the mount from the hounds, and just go through those bosses that we enjoy and we get down. We have them down pat, and everybody gets that feeling of accomplishment and success. And then Saturday we can go in there and hopefully feel like we're going to be more successful.
So we can do maidens.
Yeah.
No, we didn't say that.
That's my favorite boss.
We know.
Ant, what do you think?
I think we should do that as well. But I also think that we should maybe possibly still have a lockout just in case we have a little bit of a hiccup on Agrimar, which I think that we might also have trouble with. But I think that we should also try him again, maybe kind of get our feet wet back with him and see how that goes.
Sure. Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, you beat your head against the wall, and it's like it's just good to just go out and kill some things and you know,
And it's
make yourself
possible
feel
we'll
better.
get some people some gear or something, and that could help.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think gear is the main issue, but I mean, it never hurts.
Yeah, well, like I said, we're 963.3. That's overall average for our group. That was Saturday's group, but still, I mean that's pretty good gear. But
Would it be any more of a say to allow people to bring in some alts on the fight so then they can kind of get their heads away from everything, and then maybe on Saturday night going and trying Argus for a couple pulls just to get their heads out of everything?
well,
'Cause
we could do that. Here's what's happened in the past. So once we start letting alts in, which is fine, I don't have a problem with that if that's what the group wants to do. It's just for those people that come in Friday and Saturday nights that want to get Argus down, to get AOTC or just to get that last boss. I mean, because I mean we didn't do maidens, and Agrimar, you know, is a pain too. So we haven't gotten all of the bosses down, but all you got to do is get the last one for AOTC. It becomes we take a giant step backwards. Let's just put it that way. We take a giant step backwards because they're playing a new tune, one they don't normally play. So they're concentrating more on getting their rotation, I'm guessing, than taking care of mechanics. I mean, it is a possibility. I'm not against it by all means. Don't get me wrong. I just don't know if this is the junction at what we want to do that with, because we've got what? How many more? When's the new expansion come out? August.
7 or 8
August.
weeks.
Yeah. So.
And seeing the one, like, I agree with everything you just said, but it's also gotten to that point of the expansion where the new one's coming. So, I mean, do we want to keep beating our head, or we just want to have fun for a couple of weeks?
Right. And that's where I was going to take it. Yeah. Because I'm in agreement there. I would love to just, let everybody let loose, do all their talking as they're fighting, blah, 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 because when you're going for progression, you can't have that chatter going on. And I've noticed it a little bit, but then we get to phase 4 and then it gets really quiet.
I'm sorry. I am guilty of chatter all the time.
Well, no, chatter's not bad. No, don't get me wrong. Chatter's not bad. I mean, this game is meant to have fun. I mean, that's one of our priorities with this group. The number one priority is to have fun. If you're not having fun, we need to change it, because I don't want to play a game that's not fun.
And Sam, that's why I think we should go back and do a full clear so we can have fun for a night before we then beat our head on Argus again.
Sure. So you think let's discuss that. Should we back up and do normal alts, or should we do heroic alts? Good question, huh?
Yeah, good question.
Yeah.
I would vote for normal myself.
Because see, I have an alt that would do normal, but she's nowhere near ready for heroic. So,
Yeah.
Well, let's this coming week, let's go ahead and kind of go with what we've got, and then we'll put that up to a vote and see what people think for maybe the next week, doing alts. See if there's a majority. Because what happened the last time we did this is that we had just people that just went, all right, you guys go do alts, I'm not doing it. And then we'd lose 4 or 5 people. And I don't want to do that, but it may be at that point where people are going to go, yeah, let's just have fun, and we'll present it that way. Let's just
Well,
have a fun
also,
night.
it's getting into the days of summer where people go and do things. So raid
Yes.
attendance could start dropping.
Yes, and that will happen. So, and then with the expansion coming out after summer, yeah, it's possible. So we might just want to do that.
But I
People
feel
just-
like we should talk to the raid team about it first.
Yes, yeah. Well, I'm hoping that most of the raid team listens to our podcast. That was the whole point of having a podcast in the first place, was just for our raid team. But
Stafford, I had to stop listening to the podcast
why?
because this is not what I sound like in my own head.
What you have to do is you have to plug your nose and stand on your head as you do it, and then you'll sound just normal. No, I'm kidding. I have no idea.
Or how about we don't do that?
Well, let's put it this way. We need to move on, and I hear the music. It's time for Lorelei's Pet Battle Minute.
Hi, Pet Battlers. Today we'll find out a little bit more about Island Expedition pet rewards. With 28 pet rewards, you'll be wanting to head out there and play around. It appears to me that the expeditions are much like the scenarios we did in Pandaria, although at the moment I'm not sure how rewards will be received. Some of the notable pets have their roots in old content, so if you've been wanting some of the harder to find pets, this will be a good time to get them. Among the remakes, the juvenile brine shell is a recolor of Mr. Pinchy, who isn't a pet but an item. And if you've ever spent enormous amounts of time fishing in Terracar Forest for the magical Crawdad box, you'll be happy that brine shell will be easier to get. There's also a new recolor set of the Pandaren water spirits. These will include the Laughing Stone Skin, the Mischievous Zephyr, Playful Frostkin, and the Giggling Flame. If gorillas are your thing, you'll love the false Knuckle Bump. He's a mechanical gorilla. Finally, here's why I love Blizzard so much. Poro, another island expedition pet, is based on a real bird. The New Zealand kakapo is an endangered species, and there are currently only 149 left. These flightless birds once numbered in the thousands, but with the migration of people and new animal species, predators have all but wiped out these birds. I love that Blizzard puts things into the game to help us become aware so that we can donate to help save things like this native species. And as always, more pet battle news as it is made available.
You know, that is really awesome of them to do that. That isn't the first time. They brought in the whole panda thing because of the pandas. Yeah.
And then,
So-
you know, with people who play the game and have passed away. And, you know, if you've ever gone around and looked in the islands and gone to the cemeteries, you'll see the names of real people in those cemeteries.
Yep. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, it's just
There was-
crazy.
when the series Lost came out.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They had the pod with the numbers on it. I found a spot that had a door in the ground.
I know, when I ran across that the first time, I'm like, what? What?
Yep. You knew somebody there was.
Yeah, it's great that they're not just a game. They really go out there and find things.
All right. So next up,
Want to sell my blue axe? It's got a sweet glow. Only 10G. It's not VIP, but OMFG. What's this? Some Russians are spamming the trade channel. Ban them.
Dizzy's unleashing the inner goblin. Transmog farming. There are two main ways of farming transmog: world and dungeon drops, and crafted transmog, which I will cover next week. World and dungeon drops are easy in that you can do them yourself. World drops are easiest when leveling. As you are running around questing, you will just acquire blues and greens. Send these to an alt and auction them. Dungeon farming is another easy way of getting transmog. Find a dungeon, run it, repeat. For solo transmog farming, this may be the best. I went and ran every dungeon in every expansion 10 times to get a pretty good average of the gold value per dungeon. For instance, in the Burning Crusade, I averaged 5,500 gold worth of transmog per run of mana tombs. And then sometimes you also get things that drop that are worth over 100k, which just boosts your average. Transmog farming is all about the time invested and a lot of RNG. The other big thing with transmog is to make sure that you're always posting. Transmog won't sell if it's in your mailbox. I repost an average of 3 times a day to make sure that I am the best priced on the auction house. People are only willing to pay for the cheapest price when buying transmog. So go out there, get your farm on, and keep getting that gold.
and there's no tank in address tonight, but here's the music.
What's wrong with tanking? What's wrong with tanking? What's wrong with tanking in a dress? What's wrong with tanking? What's wrong with tanking? What's wrong with tanking in a dress?
I love that song. Anyway, we have our newest member, and it is.
Sometimes it's hard to play my monk in raids. I'll go ahead and play her anyway. Forget the trees and grow a pair of fists. It's hard, it's hard, it's hard out here for me. It's hard out here.
Ants Misting of Healing. Now that we're nearing the end of the expansion's content and trying to get that coveted AOTC, it might be a time to take a step back and get back to the basics. I feel as though we may have lost our groove and getting burnt out of the same things over and over again. I know as a healer I tend to have to multitask more than I want to, but then again, I couldn't do that, then why am I healing? I feel as though we try to get Agamar and Argus down. It's not about getting the boss down fast, but doing the mechanics. I look at Agamar, where we need to do the basics and focus on the little things. Avoid damage that needs to be avoided. Keep moving is another thing. I tend to find myself moving a lot in that fight, but then again, I'm also healing and a CC'er. If you have to move and it's in the middle of a heal, just move. It's not a DPS race. It's about staying alive, and I can assure you as a healer, it's better that you live in the fight or you won't get it down. You are probably not able to get everyone to full health until the stacking phase. Just throw a heal and move. This will also save you mana, especially when one of those pesky little ads doesn't get CC'd. Just get back to the basics of the fight. Trying to do more to improve your heals per second isn't going to do you any good if you're dead. Next week, we will break down a little bit more about Argus and the process in which our healers go by our group.
And next up, we have... It's WFN News, Warcraft Stafford News. The Neither Disruptor is up next at the Broken Shores with Neither Storm and Epic Hunter. The weekly event, Just for Lorelei,
Yay.
yes, is the Pet Battle bonus event. Yay!
Yep, I got pets to level.
All right. And let's see, WoW tokens 204, so they've dropped a little bit. Still not the 40k I remember when I first started, but yeah, it's. I don't know if it'll ever come down that far again. So, but that's it for the WoW news. There's not much going on this week. We had a lot of stuff going on last week. How many of you guys did the Thousand Needles boat race?
I didn't do it this time. I did it the first
Not
time.
me.
Nope.
Have either one of you ever done it?
Nope.
Nope.
You guys missed out. Yeah, I was like Lorelei. I did it, and I'll never do it again.
Yeah, it's like, okay, got it.
Yep.
I thought I'd get some
I
nifty
feel that
neat
way
reward.
about all of
got
the
to s-
holidays. After
Really?
I got what a long strange trip it's been, I just can't do the monthly holidays.
Some of them I
Ooh.
don't mind doing.
We got the Fire Festival coming up next week. No, not
We-
next
no.
week. Week after.
Yeah, the week after. Yeah, there's a few more coming up. I did the Fire Festival all until the time I cannot get past the throwing the torch up in the air and then catching it and doing it 10 times.
You know what? You know what? Just for you, there's an add-on for that.
No. Is there?
Yes. Yes, that's how I
Oh.
got through it.
I was going to say, I gave up because I was like, I'm not getting through that. There's just no way.
There's an add-on. I'll have to see if I can find it. I don't have it on right now, but I'll have to. I know it's out there.
Which is the one where you gotta put out the fires. I like that one too. Get the buckets of water and throw
that's
'em.
it. That's at Halloween.
That's Halloween. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Lions Pride Tavern is on fire.
Yeah, we have to put that out.
Yeah, down in Goldshire. So I thought it was funny. I had a couple of friends of mine. We were playing State of Decay, and I was telling them, I got to go, guys. I got raid coming up, and they're like, "Oh, that's right. You play World of Warcraft. So have you seen the movie?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I've seen the movie." They're like, "Was it really that good that they're warranting a second one?" Did you guys know
Yeah.
there's a second one coming out?
No, I didn't.
I didn't know that.
See, I'm going to have to go verify that because I don't know if he was pulling my leg. I mean, it didn't sound like he was, but it sounded like there might be another World of Warcraft movie coming out.
Oh, yeah, no, I knew about that.
Really? Oh, so there is
Yeah,
one.
well, the first one did so well overseas and in China
Yeah.
especially that it made so much money that of course, they're making a sequel.
Well, because over here, it was average. It didn't do great.
Well, over here, the only people that watched it were those of us that are
That
avid
play.
fans already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got my
Okay.
girlfriend to watch it.
Oh,
See, I
my
think
God.
so many
That
people
still counts as a
wouldn't
fan.
get it. They just wouldn't. They wouldn't get the Murlocs at the end. With
Right.
with the baby thrall. They just. It's too much of an in thing.
Yes, I
Insider
agree.
thing.
And I kind of figured when it came out, that's the way it was gonna be anyway. It was gonna be geared towards the WoW players, not necessarily the general overall public. And I think that's where it's got its bad ratings because people went to it and went, "I don't understand it." What was so special about it? But I mean,
Yeah.
I thought they did a great job on the orcs, and I had people that never played WoW that went, "Yeah, they were just ginormous. They weren't lifelike." I'm like, "No, but you don't understand. That's what they look like in game too. They're just huge."
Yeah, well, that'll be good. I'll have to look up that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go check. I thought maybe he was just pulling my leg, but maybe not. So, well, guys, thanks for coming. Ant, thanks for being here. I know you missed your very first official day last week, but that was because you had to work late, so that's understandable. But I want to thank everybody for coming, and thank all our fans for listening. And I'd like to thank Charm for all of her beautiful music. Please go visit her website and her YouTube channel. The links are in the description below. And if you want to hear more of Ant's song because it fit perfect that he was a Mistweaver monk. She's got the whole song on her website, so you can listen to it. I just pulled a little sliver out of it. So, and Vincent Moretto for his heavy metal tavern music at the beginning of the podcast. So, thanks everybody for coming. We'll see you all next week.
See you next week.
See you next week.
Bye bye.
I kissed an orc and I liked it. The taste of his Bulgur chapstick. I kissed an orc just to try it. I hope my ally friends don't mind it. It felt so wrong, it felt so right. Don't meet up in love tonight.
So, you must have your key binding set to the equals button
I do.
because I'm sitting here going, where the hell all these equal lines come from? And then I see they're just going and going and going as he's talking.
I do. And I was sitting there and I was like, crap, crap, crap.
I saw you backing it up, and then you go forward, you back it up. That's too funny.